Hi, I'm Rita Wilkins, also known as the Downsizing Designer. So tonight I wanted to talk to you about something that's one of those hard questions that we need to confront and we need to talk about. So the question is, why not start decluttering your home now so your kids and your family don't have to do it when you're gone? So if you've ever lost a loved one or a parent, a significant other, you may have already had to deal with not only cleaning out their home and all the things they've collected and accumulated over many, many years, but also preparing the house to be sold. So all of this while you're still mourning the loss of that person and while managing your own life, your own kids, your own household, your own business, your own life. So cleaning out a house for a loved one is not easy. It's emotional. It's hard to go through and throw out their stuff because you know it meant a lot to them. And you feel guilty, you feel overwhelmed, and you feel their loss even more as you sort through all of their different things. So how can you prevent your kids from having to do that same thing that you might have already gone through, that heartache, that overwhelm that you might have experienced cleaning out your own parents' home? So if you're a baby boomer, if you're midlife right now, you've heard how important it is to get your affairs in order, meaning your finances, your insurance, your wills, and so forth. But getting your home and your stuff in order is actually equally as important. Yet it's one that's often overlooked and put off to one day I'll get around to it. I would just encourage you to consider organizing and decluttering your belongings sooner than later, while you're still able, before it's too late, before something happens to you and your kids have to end up doing exactly what you did, maybe for your parents or for your own loved one. Perhaps you've heard of the book The Art of Swedish Death Cleaning by Margareta Magnusson. I know it's kind of an awful title, but her method of decluttering your stuff before you die is actually a very compassionate way of intentionally letting go of your belongings that may have been important to you at one point in your life, but maybe no longer have the same meaning, or you don't want them, you don't use them, but we still keep them. So there are a number of reasons why we should start decluttering our possessions and organizing all of that now versus waiting. One of which is you have an opportunity to ask your kids what they might want or might not want. And it's not, it is an opportunity for them to say yes or to say no. And our harsh reality as baby boomers is that our kids are living in smaller spaces. They likely will never consume or collect as much as we did. So as hard as it may be to accept, our kids really don't want our stuff. So isn't it better that we ask to give them the chance to say yes or no? Isn't it better for you to know that also, so that you can begin letting go of the things that you've been holding on to, thinking they might want them? It will also give you a great deal of pleasure knowing that the pieces that they do want will now be used. And knowing that something that was meaningful to you at one point in your life is now being used in their home, it gives you a lot of joy. Because it's a way of keeping your memories alive, not just for you, but for them. So I recently gave our mom's Hummel creche set, her nativity set that we bought when we lived in Germany, that she brought out every single year of my life, and it always sat in a certain spot in our home. And I recently gave it to my niece and her husband, who have a new home. And I know now that she's proudly using it, and she'll bring it out every single year like our mom did. So that's the kind of thing that, knowing that they do want something, they ask for it, it gives you great joy. So letting go of your unwanted and unneeded possessions is actually a gift that you can give not just yourself, but for those that you leave behind. So the benefit of deciding to declutter and organize and get all of your affairs in order now is that it's actually a compassionate way to save them the hard work and the heartache after you're gone. It also allows you to enjoy lightening up and living with less so that you can have less clutter, less stress, and less overwhelm. It also allows you to focus more on what matters to you so that you can spend your time doing those things rather than taking care of all of our stuff. So for all the excess stuff that we keep holding on to, either you or they might want to use it someday. Why not give yourself the permission to let it go now sooner than later, and you can choose then to live a simpler, more abundant life with less.